Hello, hello, oh, let's see. Good evening, good morning. Still doing rechecks and forgetting. Look who's joining us. Suit is being very purry. I've been waiting for this all day. Oh, hello, Joanna, good evening. Hope you are having a good day. I am being all sorts of sleepy and forgetting to put on the starting soon screen card first. So there is that, but I suppose we'll just have a sudden start to the shenanigans. I hope people are having... Oh, okay, I think this is working. Everything is green as at least, so that is a good start. Good afternoon, Max. Hello, welcome. It's been a whole 2 weeks since we last hung out. We had a very good trip with spouse, and that was nice. Joanna says the day was mid. Thanks. And that is okay. I mean, at least that wasn't bad then. I think Sut is very happy to finally have a lap that isn't just sliding off or that she gets ejected from immediately. Hello, Catpaw, welcome to this. No, it's not the last one before February. We have another one, hopefully, so. And Kelly says, good morning from Southern California, land of flames. I hope you are safe, Kelly. I hope that if you have been issued evacuation orders that you are able to do so safely. So please stay safe. It seems very scary with the big flames going everywhere. So I hope you are staying safe and taking care of yourself and your community. We joke that the voids are little toasty loaves, but we very much prefer to keep them very safe and snug and everything. You are safe, that is very good to hear. At least that is a small comfort in all the scary news that comes about the disasters. Max says their week has been pretty decent. That is very good. A decent week is very good. Like, if normal is what we're gonna have most of the time, then that is pretty nice. Catpo says they don't get updates anymore. It's the sad thing with news, isn't it? When it's sort of been going on for a while, it loses that oomph for the news and it kind of dies out, even though the emergency is still just as emergent. But we can at least provide a little bit of a respite. Hello, Marianne. Good evening. I have a very, very snuggly cat. Hello, Luxolaire. Welcome. I almost wish that I could have like a second cat cam set up so that you could see her face, because she has the most self-contented face right now, but of course that is something that keeps moving around, so it's kind of difficult to keep track of. 5 big ones right now? That is very scary. Fire ecology seems scary all around. Like, that's an interesting biology to be living within. Hello, Doro. Good evening indeed. Welcome. I hope you are having a decent day. I had hoped that we would be working on the shawl today, but it is a little bit big on top of Sue, so we shall see. And I see Max is getting medical attention. That is very good. Good job doing the thing and going to get the help that you need. Very good. Hello, Yenta, good evening. Merry Thursday, 6 p.m.-ish, depending on when and where you find yourself. I am currently a chair, a very fortunate cat chair and masseuse at the same time, if we are to judge by the purrs, though I think she is also just falling asleep. Good evening, Flatter Battery Makes. Welcome to our chill little hangout. I usually try to encourage people to do crafting by doing some crafting on my own, but can we do that without disturbing this little purring pile of floof? Hi. Why are you so cute, Miss Megan Beckett also says good afternoon. And it's the first time you've been able to join a live stream this early. Well, welcome. I hope you are having a good day. We are having a very slow start to the live stream. I usually have a little stream starting soon card while I finish the last setup, but I forgot this time, so we just dove straight into it, which is its own kind of thing, I suppose. Seems like we have quite a few people joining us today. What are you all working on? Have you gotten any fun New Year's projects, or are you finishing something from 2024 before diving in on new things? Kelly says they just finished sewing the ends in on their 2024 temperature blanket. Wow. I have never been able to make one of those, although I like the ones that are like scarves or narrower things, because doing a whole row of a temperature every day seems a little bit daunting, or that I would like fall behind pretty fast. I don't know. So well done for finishing that. That is very cool. Hello, Lynn. Welcome. I hope you are having a decent day. Slug is being, pardon, very long. Hi. You know, I can stop you from sliding down. Your bum kind of does that on its own. Joanna is doing their fingernails. How fun. I've never have had much practice with that. Lynn is making bento and peach pie. That sounds daunting based on your crossed out emojis. I hope you are taking care of yourself at the same time. Madam, you know, my knees have an end. Good morning, Echidnas. This is Sud. If you're asking. Embla is the very, very fluffy one who has the squirrel tail. Sut is the silky one, who is mostly the one hanging out in the live streams and in the videos, because she likes that I sit still for long stretches of time and that the workroom is quiet. Embla is much younger. She's 2 years younger than Sud, and she is very much Spouse's favorite, so she will follow Spouse all over the house and usually only come to check out what we are doing if Spouse is away or, you know, otherwise unavailable. She might come and see what we are doing, but most of the time Sut is the one hanging out with us. And right now she's kind of wishing that I would just stop talking so she could have her nap in peace. No such luck, I'm afraid, madam. Kelly said they did squares high and low on the diagonal for the temperature blanket. Oh, that is interesting. Yeah, I like that. That is a fun way of doing it instead of the stripes, which are also really cool, but I like to see that people are having different approaches to the same idea. And Yenti is saying they're spinning a sample of American Tunis wool that was sent by a friend on some spindles. That sounds very fun. And then I went to spin in a kindergarten. Oh, it's always so nice to show them how crafts are done, because that is so much fun and they get so enthusiastic too. when you get to show them a little bit of whittling or sewing or fun things. I remember learning how weaving worked and trying to do a little bit, it ends up being quite tapestry thickness when you're doing it as a child, and thinking like, how could this possibly make clothes because it's so thick? Of course, it's all to do with how you actually make the thing. I'm gonna fall asleep. Hello, Giselle. Welcome. We're having a slow start. I keep wondering if I can pull my knitting out. I think I only have 2 rows left, if we're going to cast it off like that. Keep wondering if I should just do a straight cast off, if I should try to do a picot cast off, if we should make a lace, edge, either knitted or crocheted. I can't make my mind up either way. I'm a little bit tempted to do some sort of lace edge, because I haven't done it before, at least not a big one other than the little scalloped edge on some of the cowls that I make. But then we would go from maybe we could finish this today to definitely not finish it today, which each have their merits. Maybe I should cast it off regularly and then see how big it is, because it's hard to tell how big it is when it's on the circular needles. You kind of can't really get a feel for how it would feel over your shoulders without seeing how it actually hangs. Joanna is voting for crochet lace edge. They are a lot of fun to do and kind of feel a bit more intuitive to me. I've never done a lace knitting edge before, so I could be a little bit curious about that too, but lace does feel a little bit easier. You just need to find some sort of pattern. Let's see if we can... Will you allow me to fish out my knitting while you're snoozing? Parkour Kid says good morning, welcome. We are having a slow and crafty kind of day. Sorry, madam. Are we going to be too disturbing to you? I just want to fish out my knitting. I'm gonna leave your lap in a moment. So I can just find, are you? Yes. See? Oh, away from your Royal Highness's body. Apparently your boys renamed your account. I was wondering. My name is Cecilia. Well, welcome, Cecilia. I was a bit curious what kind of community we were attracting, what kind of viewers. I was like, this is new, but we welcome all sorts of crafters here. Hopefully they didn't do anything more sinister than just change the name. Although I'm not really sure what that would be, to be honest. Maybe we shouldn't be giving any ideas on the matter. Doro says they show spindle spinning in an outdoor museum. Oh, that is so much fun. I know people who go to museums, especially if they have school tours, and sometimes, have all sorts of different crafts like rigid heddle weaving and needle binding. Whittling is always, I think it's a very big classic, big favorite, but a lot of the textile arts are fairly popular as well. I think a lot of people don't really get to dive into those, so they're quite fun. And Era also says hello, good evening, welcome. Teach some homeschooled kiddos how to knit and do kumihimo today. Oh, that is fantastic. That sounds like a lot of fun. Kids are so creative, like they have this just wanting to do all the fun stuff, all the colors and patching, and it's so fun to like figure out, because a lot of the time they surprise you positively, like you think something is age appropriate, but it's like no, they'll just completely surpass your expectation, and it's a lot of fun. Glad it's bringing joy. My boys are great. Yeah, it seems like a very innocent prank to me. How do you explain my migraines to a 6-year-old boy who might not even understand? How do I start from the basics? I mean, kids are super empathetic. Kids are really, really empathetic. And depending on, 6 years old is not that young. Like, they can understand a lot of concepts. Like, at that point, they would have been sick. They might have been hurt sometimes. So relating to that empathy that kids have in spades, you could be like, sometimes, my head really hurts. I may have to lie down, may have to be in a quiet, dark room, and maybe even, if you can do it in an empathetic way, pull in like ways that they can help, such as if you share a house with them, you might be like, maybe you could go outside or read a book quietly. That would really help because noise can be painful. And just sort of, if I go to rest, please let me rest until I come out on my own. I don't know, you don't have to overthink it so much. Sometimes you can just start with like, sometimes my head hurts and it's not your fault, like it's just something that happens. And take it from there and see what kind of questions they ask, what they are interested in, and why do you need to explain it to the 6-year-old? Like, is it because you live together, because they ask, because maybe you couldn't show up to something that you said you would come to? I don't know, but yeah, I think that starting with the empathy and relating it to something that they experienced is super helpful for kids. Like, remember that time you were sick and was like, no, not really feeling up for things. Sometimes that happens to me as well, but each kid is different, so you know the kid best that you have in mind, and I would just start and see how interested they are and what kind of thing you want to tell them. Luxelaire says, breakfast acquired, tea brewed, knitting waiting, ready for cozy times. That is the right attitude that I want to bring into this, and it seems that at her current configuration, we are able to knit without disrupting Madam too much, although I see that she's actually out of view of CatCam because she's being a very long slug. There we go. Oh. Madam, will you cooperate? There we go, maybe. Yeah, my cat is too long for the camera. Sorry about that. And Joanna also chiming in with like very bad headache and sometimes additional problem, and it makes it so you want to rest. Yeah, at 6 years old they would definitely know what pain is in different ways, both from being sick for a day or two and other conditions depending on the child. Absolutely. Yenta says it's a dream, to teach at an outdoor museum? Oh, outdoor museums are so cool. We have one here in Trondheim called Sverresborg, where they have a lot of buildings that they are preserving. They are sort of, because a lot of Norwegian old structures are timber framed. You're like logs that you put on top of each other in interlocking ways. So long as you number them, you can actually pretty easily sort of pull the logs out one at a time because there are no nails or anything. They're just stacked on top of each other. So you can number them and then do like southeast, northwest, and you can pile them on a trailer and you can transport them to a different location like this museum, and then you can reassemble it exactly as it was, which is really cool, and it allows for preserving buildings that might otherwise have been lost because they were in the way and had to be removed for whatever reason they might have. Giselle says they are knitting one pullover for my daughter. Oh, that is very nice. It's a sweet little project. Dora says, amongst my peers there are too many that like to null bind, and we also have some dyers, so spinning is kind of my niche. Oh, that is very cool. Dyeing looks so much fun. I never managed to really get the space and the tools to get started, but see them at Viking markets every time, and it's so fascinating to see all the wonderful colors. And a lot of the time, especially like if they're a big setup, they will have some dye vats going on at the same time, and that is super fun. And like let the passersby see the process actually in action, along with the samples in all the colors of the rainbow, and that is just super fun to see. This stuff happened downstairs, huh? Blue Iris says they're working on some origami, maybe embroidery later. Oh, that is a lot of fun. I was doing an advent calendar for spouse last year, and I was writing them a letter for each day of the calendar, and some of the days I made a very simple, like I'm in no way skilled, but like very simple origami tutorials to make little turtles and stars to put on top of the letters, and that was a lot of fun. They thought that was a lot of fun. You know, if you lay where I'm trying to knit, you are kind of diving into the problem head first your own self, madam. I just have to say. I'm sure you would disagree. Luxelaire says that's similar to how mom explained migraines to us when we were kids. We could play whatever we wanted, but it had to be quiet because mom was sick and in pain and needed to lay down. Yeah, it was similar for us too. And it was also like a really big no-no to do anything relating to the head when you were playing, whether they had a migraine or not. It was just like a super absolutely not. Like glasses were super off limit if people had glasses, because glasses are expensive, and just the whole head area. You neither aimed for the head, like or played with the head with anyone. That was just like, no, absolutely off limits. When it comes to sign language, I'm not sure what sign language suddenly came into this, Max. Is this person deaf? Do they use sign language? Do you use sign language? Because unless you lose speech when you have a migraine, and if that is the case, you shouldn't be explaining migraines when you have a migraine. That is just a recipe for no good times. These talks should be had when you are feeling better, because we are not in the best frame of mind. Our judgment is impaired, our communication is severely impaired, and especially with kids, it's best to like give it your all when you are feeling much better, and then you can just remind them when you have a migraine that this is the thing that we talked about. That is much easier, because I am not, like, my brain is not working when I have a migraine, so that is not the time to be delving into the details surrounding a migraine. Lisa asks, is there a little dragon flying above your head? There is indeed. Spouse decorated the office for Halloween. They kept putting up little details here and there, and a lot of them were things that were hung up or put on the table, so they kind of got moved away eventually. But the dragon I thought was very cute, and not entirely explicitly Halloweeny. I mean, dragons are suitable wherever, whenever, so I thought they would be cute if it just got to stay. But I did take the little ghosty down because the cats were eating it. Even if it was only made of paper, it's still could be a bit strange on the live stream to have a scraggly ghost that had been played to pieces hanging from the ceiling, but they are very cute. So yes, I woke up to that one day, and that was very, very fun. And I thought it was cute, so why not? Although, it does make it a challenge for the camera, because the camera sometimes tries to focus on it, or on the blurry background that Spouse painted for me, and it's trying to pull the background into focus, which of course doesn't work. Jenny says, greetings Jenny, welcome. Haven't been able to catch you for a while, glad to be knitting alongside you. You are very welcome. I hope you have a good knitting session. We are trying to do this without without getting the knitting on the cat, because she's not a fan of that, but it's increasingly difficult with this project because it's gotten quite big. Because there, okay, so the 6-year-old is deaf, and when you don't have any migraine attacks, I try my best to guess the right answer when it comes to sign language. I don't know about American Sign Language, but in the Norway at least, we have apps and stuff to help us if you can't find the right sign. And courses I'm sure you can attend. But that adds a whole other level of complication to the explanation. But still, like head and pain and simple things, I am no sign language expert in any way, shape or form, so I am the wrong person to go to for advice for that. But Joanna suggests maybe drawings. Yeah, maybe drawings and writing, that would work. But if you have to guess the right answer when it comes to sign language, I would say for a topic such as migraines, it might be best to have someone who knows sign language, such as a parent or something, who can help you provide the right signs for the child so that the child doesn't get confused. But at least in Norway we have apps and things like that will give you like sign of the day and help, and I know they're also on various social media, because I have to admit I forget to check the app. It's easier if I follow them on social media and learn it that way. But it's I don't think guessing signs is necessarily a good approach. That could lead to a lot of confusion for a child, maybe. I don't know. And Megan says they tried dyeing their wool just with a bit of food coloring and vinegar in aluminium baking dish and heating it in the oven. It worked well and turned out very nicely. Interesting. How is that for stays with the project? If it bleeds at all, if it fades with the sunlight, if it is really good. That is such a fun little project and very easy to do as well. Very cute. Yeah, I think the dragon is very cute too. I always try to get it in frame when we are hanging out. And Alex says good evening Alex, welcome. You are early today as well. This has happened now at least twice, maybe even 3 times. We are trying to knit the last few rows of this shawl without disturbing the minimadam too much. I do guess when it comes to sign language, well, I'm like, I don't know enough about sign language, but I would just assume that if someone was trying to guess Norwegian at me and threw random Norwegian words at me, it wouldn't really aid in the conversation. It would make it more confusing than anything. So maybe someone who knows sign language can help you communicate it if that is what you want while you are learning more about it. Ooh, and we are about to have the first ads of the day, and we have a couple of new friends joining us today. So if you are new here, we pause for ads, we take a break. I should refill my teacup, have a little bit of a tea break, a little bit of a hydration break, and we just chill out. Like you don't miss anything. Because if you are getting ads, you are supporting the channel, and I don't want people to be left behind. So we just wait. You don't have to worry about anything, and then we catch up again once you return. Let's see, where did my tea go? I should have brought the other one, I think. Oops. I think I'm gonna move you over here. There was a spot of tea left. Haha! That's a bit noisy, sir. Let's put you on mute for a while. There we go, noise finished. The thermos is a bit loud. So Megan also contributes different countries have different sign languages. They do indeed. And there's 3 different ways of signing in just American Sign Language, so it might vary between locations. Yeah, there are big differences. It is not a universal language, and there are different cultures and different everything. So, and I heard from some deaf people who actually said that is part of the fun. Like, some people get really weird when you tell them that there is no universal sign language, but to them that is just like the excitement for us in learning about a new culture, learning about a new country, and learning a couple of, foreign words to play with. So it's just, yeah, it's a completely unique language, and it's really cool. I often it would be so fun to learn. I used to know the alphabet, at least in Norwegian Sign Language, and a couple of key phrases, hello and thank you, and those kind of very basic. Because it seems really useful. Like, if I'm not very verbal, if it's a loud location, if you happen to stumble upon a deaf person and you can help in any way, shape or form, that could be nice. But it's so hard when you don't have a reason to learn the language, so to speak, like a key member in your community or someone that really helps you along. But it's such a cool language. And when they talk really fast, I'm so fascinated, and they're so animated. Like, for an autistic person, that is so nice. They have such good facial mimicry because it's so key to their communication, and I really admire it. It's so cool. Luxelaire says they just found their lost stitch marker. Now I have exactly enough instead of 1 short. Congratulations, that is very nice. It's always nice to do that. And Yenta says an easy way to dye wool is your beverage of choice. In fact, tea makes lovely dye. Yeah, that is the tannins in tea, isn't it? And I am familiar with tannins dyeing things. Just curious about the food dye, since I'm assuming they have very different requirements than we would from dyeing fabric. Like, food dyes maybe don't have to be light fast in the same way. I have not delved into this, I am not sure. You lost it years ago. Oh, really? And lost it at their parents' home, and they put it into the sewing drawer. Oh, that's going to be very difficult to find in that case. Many commiserations, and Jenny being glad that you eventually found it again. Yeah, that is very nice. You leaving us, madam? I'm just thinking about it. Kelly says we used signs with our kids when they were young. They can understand and sign before they can use verbal words. Oh, that is cool. Yeah. That's a very good point, that they can do a lot of communication that way. And also it's useful for yelling across the room. Yeah, that seems very useful for very many things. And it's so cool. Like, sign language is just super cool. Emma says hello. Hello, Emma, welcome. Able to join for a little bit today. Wishing everyone a warm and cozy crafting. That is indeed returned. Farewell. I think there were too many interesting noises coming from downstairs. Alex is asking Jente about the kindergarten class, wondering how that went. Jente did mention that. Maybe Jente should also start a live stream and we can co-stream together and hang out. That'll be a lot of fun. You can answer all the questions from our quite intermingled communities. That could be a lot of fun. I like it. Listen, because SO learn your language. I'm not entirely sure what you mean. Giselle, do you like it as in Italian? And I apologize, I don't quite understand what you mean by that sentence, but I'm sure we can figure it out so long as we are interested in that. Some people use felting needles to join the yarn when null binding. I sometimes do that and it actually works. Yeah, that makes sense. Since the felting needle is felting the... And does it work with acrylic too? That is really cool if that is like a way that works for all types of yarn, because you are joining the fibers. That's a really good tip. I don't have a felting needle. I've seen them, but they look mean. I have to admit. It's no surprise that Alex is a fan of the idea. Yes, Venice. Oh, I see. That is very cool. Yeah, listening to language is such a nice way to immerse yourself in language. I had a colleague when I was working as a landscape gardener at the university where I studied, and she was a polyglot. She knew so many languages. It was amazing, and she was very adamant that the reason she knew so many languages was that she went to be an exchange student so many places. Like when she was in high school, she went to France and she really learned French, and when she was in uni, she went to China, and so she is really good at Chinese. And like really talking about how immersing yourself in the language is really the key to making sure that you actually learn the language, and not just, like in my case, have a few key phrases here and there and not really a working use and understanding of any language, because you just recognize occasional words but not actually can't actually form sentences. Also, listening and speaking languages are two very different skills. I can understand a lot of, or contextual, at least if I'm reading, I can understand a fair bit of German because it's so similar to other Scandinavian or Germanic languages and some French, but producing sentences is a whole other game. It's so different. It was always something that I struggled with in the different language classes, actually producing sentences in the language you're trying to learn and not just reading it. It's so difficult when you don't immerse yourself in the culture and have fun that way. If you know how to set that up, I'd be down for it. Not technical enough to do it myself. We have the same time zone. We do, don't we? I was wondering if you were in the same time zone, or if it was one over in either end. Because I know France is the same time zone, but the UK is not. The UK is 1 hour behind us. And the same with, I think, Spain and Portugal as well. That would make sense. That could be fun. It could be a guest appearance if we can figure out... If I can figure out how to do that technically. I haven't done it with a guest before, so that would be interesting. Maybe we should speak more. Hello, madam. Can I help you? Is there nothing exciting happening downstairs? Spit supplies can be helpful, but it might be considered unclean or unhygienic unless it's for historical purposes only. I would disagree with that. I mean, if you're blocking it in soap, the soap is going to wash it as well. So as long as it gets a good blocking and some good soapy water with some warm water, like, it's not going to make any problems, I don't think. And if you're at that level, then, you know, the sweat from your hands is going to provide help as well. So I think so long as you block it and you give it some soap, I think you're good. Guess we need to do a voice chat to hone your German skills. Oh, at least I will say, when we have German tourists walking around, they are easier to understand than the Spanish tourists, because a lot of time the German tourists speak not quite as fast. You hear two Spanish people talking together, or I had a Spanish colleague, and they talk so fast that even if I can pick out individual words, I can't keep up with the cadence of the conversation. It just goes too fast. But at least when I occasionally run into German tourists, which I mean, they happen to visit Norway frequently, at least they are speaking at a tempo that is a little bit easier to listen to and to try to interpret what they are actually asking for directions for, which is very helpful. Because when you're working as a gardener, for instance, they often approach you for directions because you're out there and you're visible and you're staff, and that really makes it easier for people to approach you. Madam is monitoring her kingdom. Indeed, it is a very important task that she must attend to. Hello from Virginia. Hello, Julie. Welcome. We're having I guess a lap off between the madam who is snoozing and the project that is getting too large to interrupt, to disturb her with, but we are trying to not disturb her too much. But yeah, a braided join or the felting needle is a good thing to do if one doesn't want to do a spit splice. If one is working with wool, of course that doesn't work with acrylic anyway, but the needle felting idea is really good, I think. Like that, why not solve the problem like that? Spanish speakers are like, all the words run together at the speed of light. Oh, they are so fast. Like Spanish and Italian, the language is moving so fast. Even if I can pick out individual words, I am just amazed and impressed at the rate at which they can speak. It's truly incredible. I'm in awe. I could never. My mouth doesn't work that fast. They're beautiful languages, though. Really, really beautiful languages. It's so much fun to listen to the different languages that exist. Like if you can get a documentary or a sample, and it's also interesting how context really shapes how you interpret language. Like the best example I have for this, that to me, who speak neither language, Northern Sami and Finnish sound a little bit similar. Like they have some similar cadences, they have some similar mouth noises. They have like, to me, they sound a little bit similar. I can usually tell them apart, but like they sound like they belong in the same language family and like that they are related. But to my Finnish friend who grew up, half in Norway, half in Finland, who speaks Finnish, that is completely like, absolutely not, because she understands Finnish and she doesn't understand Sami, so she doesn't understand what I'm talking about when I'm like, they sound, the musicality of the language sounds similar to me as someone who just doesn't understand either. And she's just like, no. Although she did also tell me that sometimes she kind of forgets that she knows Finnish and that she will listen to the radio and be like, what is that? And then she's like, oh, wait, I can just turn on the Finnish side of my brain and it'll work. And I was like, what? So fascinating to me. Alright, we have finished the last straight row. Do we think this is big enough? I do think this is big enough. Like, it doesn't have to be an enormous shawl to be a cozy shawl, does it? And we can do the whole... And these lace shawls block bigger. I need to remind myself of that. Lace shawls block bigger. So it's going to be longer than it looks. I do think, fingers crossed, we can start casting it off. That's a little bit scary. And then maybe, like was suggested, we will do a little bit of a crocheted edge. But what I like about a crocheted edge is that I can cast it off entirely, even if I keep it attached to the ball of yarn, and see how I like it before I do the lace. But you could do for knitted lace too if you did it one way, but let's see. Catpos is like, yeah, like what part of the ballpark am I looking when looking for words and references? Yeah, can be big challenge, but also a lot of fun. And Luxler said it does look big enough. It doesn't need to be a large shawl to be a cozy shawl, but it helps. That is true. I don't have any shawls, so this is going to be my first shawl that is actually my shawl, because the first one I made I gave away. But I'm very much enjoying how simple it is, at least this triangular shawl, that you just increase them at set points and then you can do whatever in between. I do enjoy that. And when I made the black one, I did not remember that lace knit blocks much larger, and it ended up a lot larger than I had intended. So maybe this will end up either a little bit too small, or like not quite as big and cozy, I could always make a new one, or just right. Like maybe this will be just right if it blocks out to be fairly long. Catboss says it looks bigger than mine. Really? Yours would look so lovely though, and it looked fairly big as well. I'm wondering if it's hard to tell how big it really is while it is on the circular needles, because it warps the perception of it so much. It looks stunning. Well, thank you. It is all available for free if you would like to have a go yourself. I mean, it's just diagrams combined that look symmetrical, but I had a lot of fun making it. But by giving it away for free, I don't need to be like, a pattern needs to be written just so and be perfect in all these ways. So I'd just be like, no, just have it. I don't want to deal with the complaints of people going like, I don't understand this, this, and this. And I'm like, no, have it. It's much easier. Plus, it's fun to make things free so that everyone can access them, I think. Like it can make such a big difference to the vibe of a community if things are more accessible, which can be difficult to balance with, making a living as a content creator. But I like giving things away. It's much more fun that way. Jenny says they finished the Sontag like you have. It's very comfortable and stylish. Ooh, yeah. I guess if a Sontag counts as a shawl, I do have one shawl that was given to me by the friend I gave the black shawl to. It was fun. And that one is really, really comfy. But this one would be more of a just pull over your shoulders, and even if the ends hang around, shawl. So each to their own purposes. But I do have it in the cupboard over there, ready to be worn. But again, I've never lived in a house like this before. That is just, it's just staying warm throughout winter. It is so well insulated. It's kind of freaky. It's kind of, I've never lived in a house that isn't drafty and where the windows aren't really cold, and where the where the heating is just, where it has central heating. This is completely new to me, and it's so almost alien. Like it's so strange, where I don't wear my sweater and my shawls all winter through, so it's kind of, a part of me kind of misses the coziness of wearing shawls all winter, but at least I can still wear them sometimes, just not as much as I'm used to, and it's very strange to me. I love to share patterns. It isn't my income, it is my joy. That is a really nice way of looking at it. And it's so nice to see people just being able to access things as well, like being able to access, like there's so much information on the internet that has the potential to be used for so many good things, and I just want people to have fun things that they can make for themselves. Lace knits block bigger. That could be why my leaf sweater grew 2 sizes when I blocked it. You learn something new every day. It might be like a truth with modifications, but especially what I've found is, especially if you're doing lace knit on, like in this case, I wanted the yarn to be as thin as possible and the needles to be like the biggest I have, which are 4mm, I think. This is either 4mm or 4.5. When you have like a disparity between the needle and the recommended needle size for the yarn that you're using, so this would be a recommended needle size of I think 2.5 or 3 at most, and then I'm doing say a 4.5, so there's a disparity between the size of the needle and the yarn recommended, and then you're doing lace knit on top of that, I do find that it looks quite a bit bigger. So it might have contributed to why your lace knit looks bigger as well. But at least that is the factor where I found that is very, very much the truth, like even more than usual when you're blocking, that the lace knit can look quite a bit larger than you started out with, which makes them really airy and nice as well, so it has benefits. Jenny says, I keep the temperature in my home cooler than most, so we do wear layers even in the house. Yeah, I kind of miss it, but we have central heating like included in the costs, and even on the lowest setting, the house is so insulated that it still stays fairly warm and toasty, which is really strange to me. The cats are loving it. I'm finding it a little bit weird, because like, winter is the cold season. Next week is Chinese New Year. I was born in the year of the tiger. It is indeed. Yeah. That'll be a lot of fun. It'll be, what, year of the snake? Is that right? It'll be fun times for all. I miss the cold too. It's so nice to wear things in the house. It is. It's really cozy. It's such a nice part of winter. I do wear it outside though. Like if it's around 0 degrees, like around freezing, I think it's really nice to wear wool, because my big heavy wool coat can get a little bit warm if it's like mild winter weather out. So I do still wear my knits because I do love them so, and they're so cozy. It feels so nice and snug when I'm wearing knitted things. Like it feels like a hug, which I really like. Loxler says, yes, Yara the Snake, I'm going to my aunt's house this weekend for mahjong and dim sum. Oh, that sounds delicious and a lot of fun. I hope you're having a really good time with that. I wish my largest needle was a 4. I love working with smaller needle, but I tend to knit very tight and have to size up constantly. Currently working on 7mm ones. Cool. Yeah, when I went, I fell in love with, I don't know if I can even show you. Let's see if I can transfer this, and I put a stitch marker on. I don't think you can see this. Maybe if I show the Sutocam. Let's see, like these needles are colorful. Look, it's like they've dyed the wood somehow. You can't really zoom, but that's fine. Like, so I let myself fall for the capitalism, and I would like buy one set once in a while, and then I would buy the interchangeable ones, so a couple of cables and then a couple of the needles and some DPNs, just to have some double point needles for when I need to finish hats or start square shawls or something. And so I had not the biggest set, but I'm really enjoying having a set. Like I never had that, and I just love I know they break easily, but they bring me so much joy to just have knitting needles that have colors. Have a good walk, Emma. See you next week. I hope you have a really good walk. Have a good time. Nice to see so many people. I feel like there was really an uptick in people joining us after the New Year's, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, have a very good walk. It's a lot of fun. And Kelly as well, have a good day, evening, whatever it is that you are enjoying. The needle looks stunning. Yeah, I fell so in love with them. Like I had a couple of needles that I had inherited already, but I just fell in love with them. So I was like, that's okay. We can be a little bit of a consumer once in a while, but I'm going to use these needles like so long. They're so nice to work with, but mostly I just fell in love with the color. Let's be real. That's why I don't have more than a 4, because I really love working small as well, so I don't see the need to like complete the set, so to speak, with needles that I won't really use. So I have like the smallest. I think they start at a 2.5, which I'm terrified of using wood at 2.5 because they're so skinny. And then I have some metal and carbon fiber at 1mm for the, you know, them Victorian patterns when we are doing recreations of those. I'm not even sure I've dared to use the 2.5mm ones. Or is it 2mm? That's the smallest. I can't reach it right now. But the wood is so skinny, I'm like, ooh, we need to be careful with those. But 4 is, I mean, they're quite thick. They're quite nice. It's all a matter of habit. I like 3 and 3.5. Like that's probably where I work the most for socks and things. I knit all our socks, and my favorite to-go needles are the flexi flips. I have not heard of the flexi flips. I'm always up for trying new needles. Interesting. I am not familiar with the flexi flips. Let's see if we can find them on the old internet so that I know what you are of what it is that you are speaking. Oh, the little bent, like so that you can use instead of double point needles, you have 3 of the tiny like sock needles, isn't it? Yeah, I have a friend who learned to knit socks on those, and she found it a lot less intimidating than, you know, using 5 double point needles. They are so cool. I think they look like a lot of fun. I mean, if you are enjoying the flexi flips, I think go for it. I learned to knit on double point needles when I was a child, so for me, like I have the function of double point needles and then the circulars, so I haven't really felt the need to buy the flexi flips, but they are really cool. I see a lot of people really enjoy using them if they are learning to knit now that they are available, because it is less intimidating than using a lot of needles all at the same time. I have seen those and I hear really good things about them, so I say, like, if you enjoy them, absolutely keep using them. Like, why not? I think it's just everything that keeps you creating is good, and some people just will not become friends with double point needles, and that is completely okay. Enjoy the flexi flips, absolutely. Verwacht says, I use Prim ergonomic needles. They allow you to knit for so much longer. Oh, interesting. I had not heard of those either. I'm learning so many new things about knitting. Let's see how those look. What makes them different? Prim ergonomic knitting needles. Lynn says, I bought a knitting kit a while ago and they were colorful needles like this, so my only circulars are fancy. I love it. Keep your tools fancy. Well, I mean, when you're trying a craft, maybe not keep it fancy, but do whatever makes you start. But if you're enjoying a craft, I do enjoy spending some money on nice tools, because it does make the job nicer. But I am very... whenever I'm trying a new craft, I try to make do with what I have in the house already, rather than spending money on tools that I will not use. Huh. Ergonomic needles, interesting. I am not familiar with that, but that seems nice. Very cool, learning new things every day. We are about to have some more ads, which means that I get to have some more tea. Hello, Kiera Ona, welcome. We are just about to have an ad break, but we will be back faster later. Madam, you are being too long for the frame again. Not one single fluff given. Hi. Loxelaire says they have some wooden needles at 2.5 and they're surprisingly sturdy. Interesting. Or at least I used them for travel needles and they get stuck in my bag and they haven't broken yet. I have broken at least one pair of, I think they were 3mm needles. I was doing, that was actually, if anyone remembers the wool coat that I resized from my grandmother, I was knitting on the bank of the river and it was winter, so my hands were really cold and I was trying to knit to give the reveal some interesting flair. And instead of knitting, I broke my needles. That's very sad. Luckily that river is in the city, so I could just pop by the craft shop and buy a new pair, because I only have one pair of each size. But then I pulled out my Hobbit book instead. So I have actually managed to break needles, which, you know, makes me be a little bit more... It was because my hands were so cold that I couldn't really feel what I was doing, and then I couldn't control my power, but... clumsiness is expensive, I tell you. I enjoy colorful needles. My spouse bought me a set of those same needles and I've had them for 10 years. They are my favorite. Oh, interesting. I didn't know they had been around for 10 years. I only started seeing them in Norwegian shops like a handful of years ago. That is really cool. Jenny says, I used the double points for years. I'm really enjoying them now. Cool. I have not tried them, but it might be nice for accessibility as well, for people who struggle with a lot of them. And Dora says they also have the symphony needles from Knitpro. Yeah, they are very pretty. I do enjoy. Sparkling Maple says, finally caught a stream working on a crochet raglan. Ooh, that sounds really cool. It's a really nice, big, warm, toasty project. Lynn says, I don't think I could ever use double-pointed needles. I can barely hold needles as it is. Yeah, that is a fair point. Like, it is a very much a dexterity-based thing that is quite hard to just learn. That is what I like about teaching kids to knit on circulars, because they don't lose their stitches in the same way that you would totally lose your stitches on 2 or 5 or however many double-point needles. Circulars are my favorite. If I can use them, I will. For sleeves, I like to use 40 centimeter circular needles. The fixed ones, not the interchangeables, because the cord is longer. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I think I have a 40 or a 20 centimeter cord, like the very short ones, and my only problem is that I usually put my whole hand, like you can see, inside the knitting needles. But when I'm knitting with the really small ones, I have to like put half my fingers outside the knitting needles, and that feels really unusual to me. I'm also really worried because like the strain on the point here, where the needle becomes the cable, seems under a lot more pressure, so I'm worried about that they're gonna break, but they haven't yet. They're very sturdy, but they're also very cute. The tiny circulars are kind of their own little fun. First pair of really long stockings that I knitted, I also knitted on like 40 centimeter circulars until I reached the crease for the heel and had to swap to double points. That was a fun project. They were very chunky, I should say. The yarn was quite thick and so was the pattern I chose, so they didn't end up very smooth. Not really stockinette, but it was a lot of fun. It was a good start. And they kept me very warm in winter. I'm glad to hear everyone is enjoying FlexiFlip. I find them really intimidating, honestly. Oh, interesting. I had not heard someone say they find them intimidating, but then I hope that you feel encouraged to give it a try. Yeah, no, I hear so many good things. Like I have my sister-in-law has been learning to knit as an adult and has just gone head first into a knitting spree and is having so much fun with it. It's so much fun to see how much joy they get from creating and knitting, and they found double point needles intimidating, so they went with the FlexiFlips instead, and now they knit everything from socks and hats and sleeves with the FlexiFlips, and they're so happy with them. So yeah, whatever makes you want to try to create and, I mean, lower the pressure, like make it feel more doable, go for it, try it. It's one of the reasons I always like to talk about, you know, if you are scared of cutting the nice fabric that you bought, maybe lower the bar, like go to a flea market and find some cheap bed sheets or something and just experiment with it. Find some old clothes in the back of your closet that you don't use and start with those, because then you get some traction. and it's less scary. So same with tools. Just whatever makes you feel less pressure is always good in my eyes. Megan says they have the Chai Gu really skinny pointy steel needles that have the red coating on a wire cord for the circular needles that come in sizes as small as 000. I wonder about bending them. Is 000, is that a UK term? I have not been able to find, in Norway at least. Hello madam, you're going to snuggle the microphone. Farewell. In Norway at least, I have not been able to find anything smaller than 1mm needles, which are still quite challenging to find. How small are 000 needles? Let's see. That sounds very scary, because the only 1mm needles that I have are double point needles. I have not found them as circulars. That sounds honestly really cool, and now I'm kind of wanting them because I'm incorrigible. No, we have enough knitting needles for the moment. Two millimeters. I would like to know what a 000 is in. Says that no, that doesn't sound right. Google tells me that the 000 is a 10mm needle. That does not sound right at all. If it was a UK size, but if it is a US size, in the US, if this is US, then a 000 is 1.5mm. That is very tiny. That is very tiny. I do not have circulars that tiny. That is so cool though. Very, very cool. I guess we can use it as a knitting cam when there is no cat on the cat cam. I'm lusting after those carbon needles. I know, I have a project I want to use them for, but there are so many other things that keep happening. I have the patterns sitting in my tabs on the browser and everything. Like I have everything ready, and then other projects keep popping up that I need to do instead. And I'm like, I want to do this project. I need to use just the 1mm needles. Gonna be so much fun. And I keep telling myself that if I want people to see what I'm doing, I should do it in white, because I have like white and black and white in the same yarn. But I want the project in black. Overexposure by gob. So I think I would use them more if I do them in black, but it'll be easier for you guys to see what I'm doing if I do it in white. But most likely I'm going to end up just doing it in black, because that is the thing that really brings me joy, that I really want to do. And then I really probably need to use the metal needles rather than the carbon ones, because I mean, if I was doing carbon black needles on black yarn, you would really not be able to see what I was doing. At least if I'm doing, you know, metallic grey steel needles, there's half a hope that I could edit it in a way that makes it semi-visible. I mean, at least you'd get the vibes, right? Luxler says they have the same circulars, not in that size though. That would be so scary to work with. Oh, they sound so cool though. Maybe I should Google them, because they sound really... cool. You could dye it after knitting, so you could have it in black but make it in white. That's an extra step though. Yeah, and I have the black yarn. Plus if I dyed it, I would probably end up with, you know, how some black gloves just bleed a lot onto your fingers. Do them in black. Your joy is what makes your videos. Oh, thank you. That is all the enabling I need. I just hope that we get to this project before winter is over. Do you still participate in reenacting? I wish, Jenny, to be honest, but to be completely honest, I kind of fell out of it when we were living in London with the spouse, and spouse was doing their undergrad, and then my migraines got a lot worse, and now I'm worried that I can't really be outside. A market is generally completely outside. You're sleeping in a tent, there's nowhere to hide from the sun, and you're just outside all day in the sunlight, being exposed. And since sunlight is one of my main triggers, it has been really difficult. Like, I don't feel like I am contributing to the reenactment group as much as I want. Plus, you feel really pulled out of character when you have like your Viking gear get up and then you have a big pair of plastic sunglasses on top. It really, I know that it is an accommodation, it is a medical accommodation, and it's not like anyone is telling me that I can't wear them, but it does impact how you relate to the visitors, how you relate to the public when you're trying to talk about historical things, when you're trying to talk about spinning or cooking or women's roles in history, when you're trying to educate the public and you're having a big pair of sunglasses and they can't really see your eyes, they can't really make eye contact in a meaningful way, you can tell that it changes the vibe. It kind of, glasses like this with thin frames, people are used to reenactors wearing those. They don't really mess with the immersion that much because we know that people need their glasses, but I find that the big sunglasses that are really dark really do impact that human-to-human connection that you want to have. And I can't go for, again, you're outside all day for usually a weekend, that I can't, not wear my sunglasses because then I will be even more sick. So I've kind of fallen out of it because I just get so sick and I don't feel like I can contribute. Like, I'll go hide in the tent or try to tough it out and then just be really sick the week after, which is hard. But I still have a lot of fantastic friends from that I enjoy keeping up with. Actually, I'm meeting some of them in February and I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be so nice. I haven't seen them in a long time, so I'm really looking forward to that. They live quite a way away. Hello. More for just make what you love? Yeah, we should try to do that. Maybe I can have a white background or something. Hello, sweetie. Do you still wear any of your kit? I've integrated some of my historical clothing into my daily wear. I wear scrubs all day, every day, so it's nice to have something comfortable and enjoyable to wear. I can understand that. I do wear some of the things, not a lot of the clothes. But a hood is a very comfortable piece of clothing, and I do use like I have a needle kit, needle house, and some other small things. I have a little knife that was given to me by some friends. I have a couple of, cups that I really enjoy that live in our cupboard all year long. So I do wear some of the items because they're good quality, nicely made things, and it really helps to remind you. I know a lot of Vikings have a lot of the kit in their house all year round, and they're such cozy houses. Like, they're so warm and welcoming. It's super nice. They're such good craftsmen. Like, they just make good stuff that you want to surround yourself with. Especially if you're someone who enjoys handcrafted things. Luxler said, I wonder if there's any more reenacting kind of eye protection, a hat with a veil or something over it maybe. I have considered that. I've actually been looking for a hat for a while, and there used to be a hat seller to a lot of markets, and I haven't seen them. I've been to 2 markets since I started actively looking for one, and I haven't encountered them, but I am looking for one of those straw hats that I could potentially put a veil over. That might really help. I don't know if it would help enough, but it might really help. I have been looking for that. It would be a very nice thing to add to the kit. Not just, that is something I would definitely wear the rest of the time as well, outside of markets and in, because that sounds really useful, and the other hats I have are, well, they're useful, but a straw hat would be cool. I like straw hats, especially in summer. Working with a white background might make it easier on your eyes too. That is a good point. Yeah, it might make it easier for me to see as well. I'm lucky to have some strong lights hanging out, but yeah, it might be easier for everyone. Maybe we should do maybe we should do a black and white shoot. You would still be just as pretty in black and white, huh? Hats are very underappreciated in society today. Love a good hat? Yes, I so agree. I also love bonnets for the simple reason that if you are sitting on a bus or in a car, a bonnet doesn't have a wide back, so you can actually lean all the way back in the seat and it isn't in the way. Which is really nice, and they can have really nice, big, obnoxiously big brims, which is fantastic fun. A lot of fun. But yeah, I too love a good hat. I have what we lovingly call the ugly sun hat, which I found secondhand, again when I was working as a gardener and I needed something to keep the sun off my head. And I added a string to it, a chin strap, so that even if there's wind, it does not get lost. And I think it is fun. It is quilted, and a friend of mine who has been traveling a lot, says it's probably South American. So presumably someone traveled and it ended up in a Norwegian secondhand shop. I think it's a lot of fun. It can go in the wash, it's squishable, it can go in my bag. I can just stuff it in my bag without worrying about it breaking. Like straw hats do not like being squished or stuffed in bags or having other things packed on top of it, but the ugly sun hat, affectionately, is a very utilitarian hat. I can stuff it with whenever I'm going about. I can always bring it with me. I can always hide it away. It is my go-to. It hangs in the hallway so that I can always grab it to keep the sun out of my face. But other hats are a lot of fun too. But that is the unfancy hat that I go to. That can handle the rain. It can handle the sun. It can handle the heavy handling. It can go through if I'm flying, which I haven't done in. Yes, there was that time we went to the wedding in Ireland 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. But yeah, it can just handle everything you throw at it, and it's my favorite because of that. But I do want a good medieval straw hat too. They are so pretty. Yes, on the bonnet from Jenny as well. Yes, exactly. They're so useful. It's such a useful shape. I also really like the Victorians had a similar thing, but not just straw bonnets, but corded Victorian bonnets. Although you also see a lot of, I think, older women in, I think it was it Osaka? In Japan, also have like this tradition of quilted, corded fabric hats or fabric bonnets, and I kind of really want to make one day. And it has a really long back, because one of the problems is that if the bonnet stops at the nape of your neck, you still get terribly sunburned neck. But these have like this long, I guess like a peplum kind of thing that hangs over your neck so that stays protected too, and that would also handle traveling really well. And I kind of want to just embrace my grandma core vibes and make one. I think they look cute. Your boys are back and wish to do some baking. Have fun baking. That sounds like it's going to be a good time. Hope you have a good day. Megan says, I've seen an idea for a lap cloth or apron that has a white side and a black side that's reversible to help with seeing the thread when spinning. That is so clever. I love that. That is so useful. I'm sure Evie would know more about that. That absolutely sounds like it would be a thing, because that is really like, that would be so useful. And when you're knitting too, that could be really helpful. I mean, I'm wearing the apron primarily because Cat is black. And with the apron, you can actually at least see the outline of Cat, even if you can't really see her features, like she's just a black blob. But concept in action right there. Do I have more tea? I do. I love seeing your Void companion. She is very cute. I just feel like, you know, I can never promise Void content because you never know. They are their own cats. And they're not, it's not like I train them. And if I use snacks to entice them, they are in such an excited mood that, you know, they just run off into a playing mood anyway. So they're not going to give any cozy content if I do that. So I'm very fortunate that they seek us out, especially in winter, for a warm, snuggly lap time. It is very... a very nice feeling to be sought out by the Void one happens to be so lucky to share a home space with. Megan says they saw it on the Tipsy Spinster channel on YouTube. That is really cool. I love that. Your cat is so well behaved. My girlfriend's cat always tries to eat my needles, and even my rabbit is less obsessed with my needles thread. They are very good about it. The old lady cat that we had that passed away a couple of years ago, she would also be really good with with the needles, but if you were casting on a circular, so that, you know, you're casting on one and one of the circulars kind of hanging down and dangling, that was super enticing, super fun. She really wanted to play with that. But yeah, we are really lucky that they usually let us craft in peace. Even if sometimes string is very enticing, very fun, especially if it's rolling around on the floor, because then it has to be a toy. If it falls down the table and, you know, off into oblivion, or if it's red. Red is the best color. Embla is so particular that when Spouse bought like a kit of 9 little toy mice with a rattle inside, where 3 were red and I think 2 yellow and 3 red, 3 yellow, 3 white. She will play with the yellow and white one if there's nothing else available. But I mean, the red is the toy, and we have now bought many red ones that are scattered about the house because both cats are like, red is the color. Red is the best color for toys. Do you find that as well? Are your cats also fond of toys that are red? Because we have found like red mushrooms as well, little toy mushrooms, but generally the color red, like they really love toys that are red. There seems to be like a pattern there. Wishing you all a good rest of the day. Had to leave. Have a good one, Doro. I hope you have a good rest of your day too. Always good to have nice friends around. We are about halfway on the casting off. I hope I'm casting off loosely enough. We're trying at least. I need to darn this sweater again, but you're reaching a point where you darn one spot and a hole opens up immediately to next to it straight away, and it's like, Do you have to wear out so fast? Your girlfriend's cats don't really play, sadly. They just like to collect things and walk them to their little box and sit with them. It's very cute, but I've had to collect some of my needles from their corner. Oh no. That is interesting. We were given Enya, our old lady cat, when we adopted her. She was also told to us to be a cat who didn't play, and it turns out she did play after all, which was very interesting. We had to like get a cork on a string because we didn't have any toys, and she was very happy to play. And then we had to get to, she played like an old lady though, like she wouldn't run as fast as such, but she would still really enjoy playing. She really enjoyed lying like on her side or on her belly, like swatting after a toy that was like hanging like a pendulum over her. That was the peak of lazy play. Though we could occasionally get her to run a little bit as well, but she was an old lady, and that is. And when you are an old lady, you know, cats come, no, toys come to you. That is fair. Do I use a more springy cast off or do you use a normal cast off? I'm not actually familiar with like many other cast offs. I just use a normal cast off, but I'm kind of pulling a little bit more at the yarn and making sure that it's very, very loose, so that I'm like not tightening anything at all. I'm just doing it very loosely, almost like consciously making the stitches a little bit too large. I know some people also use like a thicker needle to cast off to get the same effect, so that they are getting some bigger stitches with the usual tension that they bring without having to think about it, but I just cast off loosely. I know there are plenty of more elastic cast offs, but shawls don't generally need a super elastic one. They just need one that doesn't bunch up, since it doesn't have to go over cuffs or over the head or anything, so it doesn't have to be super stretchy. It just has to be not scrunched up into pleats. Billy the talking cat was also not initiating play that much, but once she got her buttons, she requested play very often. Her human deducted that Billy just wanted the human to offer something to play with. Oh, that is so sweet. Oh, it's so cute to see how they work on language and parse language, and yeah, that is really sweet. Yeah, Enya loved to play, but you had to like, you couldn't throw the toy across the room like we do with these cats who love to chase toys. Like we'll grab a toy and shake the rattle and throw it like as far as we can across the living room, and they just love to just sprint after it. Sometimes if they're really desperate to play, they will also fetch and come back with it, but so much fun. But Enya wouldn't. You had to like bring the toy to her, which was I mean relatable when they get older. Lynn is back from the grind. Welcome back, at least for a little break, if that is what you have. Done enough that I can lay down for a bit? That sounds like an interesting. I hope you are taking care of yourself as well, as much as one can, when the grind demands what it demands. And we are about to have some ads again, so I guess that means we are also, yeah, have been doing this for a while. It's easy when the ads go every 30 minutes because it means I can keep track of how long we've been streaming based on the ads. See, that's an interesting observation. My cat's favorite toy is a piece of hot pink nylon cord on a stick. I wonder if they are attracted to pink and red as they are the color of flesh. I've been thinking the same thing. I do wonder if it has something to do with that, since I think they are very predisposed to see the color red. But yeah, it's very cool. I will say though, as an addendum, Sud will sometimes grab a piece of especially balls of wool yarn and run off with them and go yowling through the house, very proudly seeking us out to show off her great hunting prowess and present to us the prey of a ball of yarn. So I think a large part of the reason why Soot doesn't really play with the balls of yarn and the needles as much, at least, is that, like, I think she easily could have become that kind of cat, but we learned that since she would steal balls of yarn, I do tend to, that's why I have a crafting bag that I can tie off at the top, and my wool is all kept in drawers and cupboards. Like, there's nothing just laying out in a cute basket on the table except when I'm working on it, because she will grab it and she will run, and then I won't necessarily find it again. So it's also a conscious effort on my part that, you know, she can't get to my needles or my yarn because it is hidden unless I'm working on it. To the point that when we were having a stroll through IKEA after we moved to pick up some things, we spotted a basket full of yarn in the display part of IKEA, and my overzealous brain just short-circuited and went, you can't have yarn in a basket on the table just laying about, the cats will steal it. Whereupon I had to realize that, ma'am, you are at an IKEA, you are not at home. It is going to be fine. See, I have missed things, oh no. We try all the time, but most of the time they stare at us like we're really, really weird, and there's a big bug now that's exciting. Oh, when there's a big bug now that's exciting. Yeah, the cats here love bugs too. They are so fascinating. They are the best. Wandering Meadows chimes in as well. Very interesting. My kitties, especially one, they prefer red toys as well. My partner's old cat didn't. My kitties are also black. My partner's was a grey calico. That is interesting. I didn't think fur color has anything to do with toy preference, but I could be wrong. I mean, there are some differences there, or it could just be random happenstance. It's interesting to hear that more cats also have red as a favorite, but not everyone. That would make sense. No rule without exception. Does the bunny just eat the needles or play with them? Good question. I don't have a lot of experience with bunnies, so I couldn't. Maybe the bunny owner in chat can help us out figuring out the mystery. Joanna says we have a weekly TV shows that show stories from the zoo in Leipzig, and the carriers are often building things to entertain the animals. For example, a figure with sheep's wool and meat in it, or a pumpkin face with treats in it. It's fun seeing the lions play with these things. Oh yeah, I see so many videos of that from zoos in social media, and they are so cute. I saw one recently where the carers had built snowmen inside the lion's sleeping house, and they were so flabbergasted when the first one came through the door. It was pretty funny. They are very... You see how playful they are. They are very cute. And Jenny says, I no longer have cats. We had a pair of black kitties that I've passed on. I'm sorry. They kept the huskies and malamutes in check. They played with the dogs more than their toys. I mean, playing with a living, breathing creature must be a lot more fun than playing with an inanimate toy. I get that. Like, the kitties will also play a lot with each other. Soot and Embla, they started out not really understanding each other's playstyle, because their litter mates had very different playstyles. Like, Soot really loves to play catch, where you just run. You don't really fight, you just run. Like, you chase and then you turn and the other one's chasing, and you hide behind doors and you do fun stuff. I played fetch with her a little bit. No, it's not fetch, but catch. And she just loves that game. She loves it. And Embla grew up more play fighting, and it was a long time where their disparities in learned play style led them to have a bit of conflict. But they seem to be getting along better now, slowly. As Embla is calming down a little and they're getting more used to one another. My favorite rabbit leaves the knitting needles alone mostly. But she gets upset if you're not petting her after a while and will stomp until you do. Oh, that is so cute. Look, Solaire said stop knitting to make some bread, just waiting for the yeast to bloom. How exciting. Baking is such magic, just letting the yeast just do the work. It's so cool. The others will absolutely chew everything. I believe that. They have strong teeth. Strong chompers. Lynn says our cat doesn't try to steal or eat my yarn or spinning floof, thankfully. If I couldn't leave some things lying around, I wouldn't be able to do any crafting at all. That is very fair. Yeah. A lot of the advice I got was to be very cautious, especially when cats are young, because they're establishing habits. But now it seems that she just, when she finds wool in the middle of the night, she will. But she doesn't really hurt it, so it's not usually a problem, but she will just start yowling like she has really, you know, taken down a big prey and come find us to show us, which is so cute. And I could never tell her off for like bringing us prey and providing for us because it's so adorable, but it can be slightly inconvenient if you wonder where that ball of yarn went. But it's very nice to have cats who don't do that, Lynn. Yeah. Oh, is the background music a little louder? Is it too loud? Give me a moment. Let's see. That is interesting. Shouldn't be louder than usual, unless this is a very loud song, but I mean, I can turn down the audio. That is the power I have. Are you very loud, madam? Looks like it is quite a loud song. Maybe I should remove this one. What other options do we have? I like this one though, but it does have a wide range of... Sorry, you can be in the videos, but you can't be in the live if you're gonna have such a wide range of volume, such as it is. That's better? Well, good. Definitely loud. The music crescendoed for me as well. Yeah, I should probably remember that, because when I'm listening to the music, it's not the same as having it in the background while I'm talking. And some sounds are more suited to that than not. Maybe I should add some more stuff to this playlist. I haven't updated it in a while, and there is so much good music to be had. Suits you well? Thank you. I really enjoy modern classical, you know, the like piano that is just... Don't know, I keep writing subtitles. I keep using words like lilting or, you know, delicious piano music. I don't know, a lot of music just feels like I want to use food related terminology, which it's a lot of fun, but maybe not all that helpful if you are deaf. I'm not sure how to write good music descriptors, because beautiful music and like fast or lilting or like conveying the mood, like this music feels like starlight, is like, how do you relate to that? Or the music is falling over itself because the cadence, the rhythm, you know, the beat, thank you. English music terminology is not my forte, but the beat is such that it's kind of just going and it keeps the energy, and it's so much fun to try to... And it helps you really focus on why you chose the music in the first point. But it can be a challenge when I'm like trying to write some sort of description to it. It's only loud every once in a while. That is good, but I should. It was louder on a previous song too. I don't think it's the song itself. Fair. But I should definitely put that on my list to go through the playlist again. To make sure that they are all fairly even in volume. Let's see, where is Matt Todoist? Matt Todoist. There you are. I don't think I remember anything I'll just write live stream playlist. Live stream playlist review. That's the word. Tomorrow. I love having a brain outside my brain. It's very useful. My dogs try to steal anything made of wood, wool or wood, so I've lost several spindles to his teeth. Oh no. When I get distracted and leave them on the table he can reach. Yeah. Soot actually likes to chew wood. That is like chopstick thickness, you know. So I would be worried about knitting needles. And we've tried to buy her matabi sticks instead, which is supposed to be like wool that doesn't splinter and give her risks of splinters in her teeth, and she's not having it. Not even one bit. Matabi sticks are supposed to be like catnip for cats, and nope. Does not want to chew them, wants to chew everything else. Like wooden spoons and yardsticks. So that is a good point, like I do have to hide them from the Madam's Troofers. Madam does love her wool, or her wood, sorry. And unspun wool is even better. Smells like sheep and she wants to eat it. Which you can't, because then you might get constipated. Only during supervision, darling. Boop. My dogs also love wood products. I have to be very conscious about putting them away when not in use. Yeah, certain thicknesses wood Soot really likes. Wood bone from Wish. I don't know, I think she really likes texture. She doesn't really, I mean, we don't give them bones because we're worried about splinters, but she will chew on brooms. Anything she can get her teeth on, really. And wool fur of the prey, yeah. I also heard something about wool for cats particularly smelling like something from the mother or something, like it really activates some sort of instinct, one of the chemicals in wool, which I haven't double checked, but that is an interesting theory if so. Which reminds me of, have you seen the pictures of cats sleeping on sheep? You know, it's just a cat just laying on the cloud of fluff as the sheep is walking around, and it's so stinking cute. Oh, to be a cat and just be able to like just drown in a cloud of fluff. Cats riding anything, to be honest, like horses or sheep or... Oh, it looks like they're having such a good time. My kitty, who is 10, ate some dental floss and had to have surgery to remove it. Oh no. In the 10 years he hadn't been interested in digging in the trash. Floss is not only buried very well, but also the trash is out of reach. Oh, that is not very nice. Oh, that is bad, yeah. Yeah, that would be very scary if you ate something you couldn't get up again. She does have an unhealthy obsession with airwax, so we do have to have a lid on the trash can in the bathroom. At least, unlike some cats, she does not go straight for the source. Thankfully. I do not want to be waking up in the middle of the night to that. I know some people have that problem, and I'm like, I feel very lucky not to have that problem. Cats seem to love the smell of sheep's wool a lot, dogs maybe too. Yeah, Soot really loves it. Embla is not so much interested, but Soot really loves it. Interesting though, I have a friend who does heritage sheep, like he breeds, keeps them on his land, and they are super fluffy and cute. And I thought Soot, who really loves to play with wool and the smell of wool and to lie in wool and always chooses wool, would be like, this is the best sleeping spot ever to like, because I bought one of his sheepskins to support him and to have, you know, something of from his farm. And I thought Soot would love it, but she does not want to lie in it at all. I think it's too soft. Like sometimes cats don't like to step on things where they can't really feel the bottom. But Embla, on the other hand, who doesn't show interest in wool in other ways, is like, this is the spot. Madam, your bum is sliding out. Yeah, I know. It's hard being a cat. I've lost a bunch of knitting needles the same way. I used to have a lot of bamboo knitting needles, but I have a lot fewer now. Oh no. But I get distracted and sit on and break, and they get stolen by my pets. Oh no! Not the precious knitting needles. Yeah, I hope to try to avoid that, but sometimes casualties are just part of the game. Lynn is appalled, poor thing. Does the cat just try to lick their ear? That is the videos that I have seen and the impression that I get. Yeah, that they sometimes just wake up to the cat just helping themselves, and I'm like, no, I love you, but that's too close. One of my girlfriend's cats has the same obsession. She would go for the source, and I've woken up to her in my ear before, and it's always awful. Oh no! Oh, that is not a good time. Not how I want to wake up in the morning. Please never discover where earwax comes from. You're bad enough as it is. I can attest to the cat wool love affair. I have found one of my cats inside my project bag many times. My partner's sibling got me a wool bat for Christmas and their cat tore into the package. Yeah, Sut would totally do that if I let her. But yeah, I have to keep all my project bags tightly closed when I'm not using it. Madam, I still have to attest that I only have knees that can reach so far. I do not have unlimited lap. I apologize. This is clearly a fault on my behalf, and I should be ashamed to not be able to provide for you unlimited lap space. I have to go put the kids to bed. Thank you for the love leaving. Have a good one, Alex. I hope you have a good time with the kids. Nice to see you, as always. Yeah, I'm still talking on top of your nap time. There we go. My son called me and the internet closed. That is alright. It is still nice when you have the time and opportunity to join. It is not an obligation in any way, shape, or form. Just like the Discord where people are having fun, like it's not something you have to do. It's meant to be a positive offer. Should you enjoy it, there is no strings attached in that way. It would be strange because, I mean, people get online and consume content at whatever rate best suits them. Wait, how did we spend an hour casting off when this takes me like half an hour to knit? When I'm not speaking to you at the same time. Come on, surely we can finish casting it off before we're done streaming for today. That would be nice. Then we would have like a finished shawl that we can show off. It would be nice. Or maybe we have yet another finished cat bed. Everything's a cat bed when you're a cat. What are everyone's projects right now? That is a good question. It's been a while since I usually forget to ask in the beginning and then I forget throughout the stream. Did anyone have any fun updates or just sharing if you joined us later to the funsies? We also have, speaking of Discord, there is a link in the pinned comment and I think it should work. At least I clicked it and it worked because it didn't work last time. You can share pictures in the crafty show-off, creative show-off channels if you want to, and they are so much fun. I really enjoy looking at them. It's just the best. People make so many fun things. It always gets my day started in the right mood when it's like, oh yes, people sharing their joy and their creativity just makes me so happy. And there are so many different crafts too. I mean, a lot of fiber crafts because that is like a thing, but also like paper crafts and it would be fun if we were just like the place for crafty creativity, like all sorts of other fun stuff too. Like I just want people to make stuff, use their creativity and exercise that part of themselves. That somehow a lot of people point out that we encourage it in children and yet adults are just supposed to leave it behind. What sense does that make? None, I say. None. Lynn says they've been working on some gold work and also a bit of spinning now that my e-spinner is back in commission. Gold work looks so much fun, but also a bit intimidating because like it looks so, it's so visible. So it's so there, whatever you lay the gold work bullion and the thread is wherever it will be. Like that is where it is, but oh, it looks so cool and it's so shiny. I've done some gold work like brocade though, like tablet weaving, but not a lot of embroidery because I'm a little bit intimidated by just how shiny and visible it is. Jenny says they have a few projects going at once. Depending on how my day went, I choose the most relaxing, from knitting to sewing. That is the way to go. A lot of people enjoy that. I will actually not have a large project once we finish this, although we kind of agreed that I would do some sort of crochet edge probably. If I can find a pattern that I like. If not, I might just have to invent something. I do have a knitting pattern that I'm trying to write that I wonder if would work, but maybe it wouldn't. We shall see. But I will have to start some other big projects, but I do have yarn for 2 cardigans, one for spouse and one for myself, that I would like to get started on. I've had the yarn now for over a year and, you know, spouse chose the colors and I know generally what shape they want and I haven't started it yet. I feel kind of bad, so I hoped that maybe together we can finish it this year. Maybe. I really want to, like, I've been doing this for at least a year already, like shopping my stash and using what I have and only supplementing if I really don't have anything that suits. Because I have so much, I feel like I have a bit too much. I would like to reduce my crafting supplies a little bit because I have a lot of things that I can use for many projects for many years really at the speed at which I'm going. It's just the kits from Bernadette Banner because I got influenced, but I'm planning to turn them into a bag and a beret respectively. Then I'll have a matching set. Those sets are so gorgeous though. They are so pretty. They did such a good job. Oh my goodness. And the beret, that is a really good idea. That is such a good way of showing off all the work that goes into the gold work. That is, I love that. That is an amazing idea. That will look so good. That is such a, yeah. I'm half tempted to steal that because I do love me a good beret, but oh. What a good idea. I love that they just kind of give you the kit as, you know, do the embroidery on this piece of cloth and then it isn't, they don't tell you what it is, you just choose how to display it. I really like that, because then people get to be creative with how they want to display it. Yeah, they did a really good job with that one. I can understand that they couldn't choose which of the two patterns they wanted to go with and just went with both. Like, totally relate to that. Verwacht says, I'm working on a sweater for my mom who bought me my first spindle. Ooh, I'm slowly making my way through the little floofs we have as I'm learning. Oh, that is so cute. I love that. Blue Iris is having fun making simple origami, cat toys, and testing a few two-sided paper showy models. Ooh, that sounds like a lot of fun. Done only a couple of very basic origami things, but they are a lot of fun. Like, it's super addictive. Pacifica Fiber says, lately I've been knitting a sweater with unspun yarn for myself. For my partner's upcoming birthday, some color work, house slippers, and quilted coasters. Oh, that is really cute. By unspun, do you mean like a single ply, or do you mean like, I see some people like knit directly from the fleece? Like, that is a thing. Pardon, I'm gonna have to mute and do a little bit of a cough. And there we go. Because I've seen people do that, and it looks so cool. Not sure how I would start doing that, but that is such a cool technique. I love it. Mendy Viola says, I just finished a pair of mittens. I'm also working on the Berocco mystery blanket. Ooh, mysteries. I have not heard of that, but very cool, very cool. Good luck, that's a lot of yarn. Yeah, if you're meaning my stash or someone else's, I do have, like, I have yarn for both those cardigans, and I'm like, I need to use up some of that yarn before I start buying anything new. I also have a lot of black and white yarn for stuff, and I'm like, we are going to use this before you get to buy new stuff, and I'm like, yeah. I would like to empty some of the moving boxes that I still haven't put in things, because there is no space. And I don't really want to add more storage furniture because the room is plentiful as it is. So I'm like, madam, we're gonna have to downsize a bit. Use up some of what you have. Your e-spinner was having issues, had to replace some parts. Yeah, that is always challenging with electric things, that it can be scary, at least I find, to open them up, because they are very different from anything mechanical and purely, you know, technical. With the electricity, it's always like scary to blow fuses or what have you. At least I find so, that I'm a little bit intimidated by electrical things. I have friends who are much better at that than me, and I'm still in awe when they fix things. I want to get better at it, but it is not the easiest thing in the world. Directly from the fleece is crazy. I need to watch that in action. Yeah, it looks so cool. I bought pencil rowing from a brand called Nutiden, and I'm holding it double. It's a long staple wool. It's slightly felted. Oh, that sounds like it's going to be a really nice, soft, fluffy sweater too. Like, that sounds like a lovely thing. And we are about to have some ads. Probably the last ads before we call it quits, because we are actually nearing the end of the shawl. But I'm probably not going to break the thread off though, because if we are making lace for it as well, it would be nice to just start with the knitting straight away, or crocheting. Yeah, I mean the felted adds the stability. That's a good point, because I would be a little bit intimidated to be working with something like that. But once it's in the sweater, I assume they would kind of stabilize each other, which is really cool. Now the main question is, if we crochet an edge, I should probably go look for a pattern later, because often I just make up things and it ends up very simple. But maybe we should actually try to look for something this time. That would probably be a very good idea. Jenny says you must go. Well, have a good rest of your day. Very nice to hang out. It's very cozy to have this at the tail end of the week when we can just sort of take a break, breathe, remind myself that breathing is a thing that we do. And I'm just happy that people are also enjoying it. It's very nice. And we've been going almost for a year at this point, which is crazy to me. Also, I have a soot stitch marker. Can you? Ooh. Yeah, you can't really see it because but it's a black cat in a teacup and it is adorable. And whenever Spouse is out and about and they're looking at yarn things, if they find black cats, I get another stitch marker, which is a very fun game. I do recommend. Void collections. We also found a sewing machine, which I don't have right now. It's in a box over there, but it's very cute. I had a Chinese friend of mine read what it said on top of the sewing machine because there were some like barely legible Chinese letters, and they translated it into something like standard sewing machine company or standard company or something like a placeholder for the company name, and we just thought that was hilarious, like a little bit like lorem ipsum lorem for websites, just like a placeholder for the name, and we were like, that's a bit of music. Do we dare? Oh, but I can pull the whole ball of yarn through, and then we lock it even if we don't break the thread. That is a good way of doing that. And it will not unravel, even if we are being clumsy. Making distaffs from brass and copper wire twisted together in a Roman ring distaff staff and combing more wool to spin in thin thread. I've been cable plying it. That is a lot of fun. I love how many spinners there are hanging out, just having skills that I'm completely in awe of. Kay says, I'm tablet weaving belts or bag straps as presents for friends, but have to take a lot of breaks because my posture while weaving them is atrocious. I can relate, like you're sitting like this, like a gremlin hunched over your cards and your shoulders are up here, and it's like, good on you for taking breaks, very good. And Loxlair is back from kitchen duties, love to see it. We have just cast off our lovely friend, and I don't think she is as small as I feared. I do think she is quite long enough, especially after we block her. Let's see, where is up and down? Well, we could pull out the center thread now, like we don't need you. I don't think I can fit this in the screen. Hello? I think we're gonna say she's good enough. She's big enough. Oh, she's warm. Oh, she's so soft and squishy. Would you like a shawl, darling? Or would you be offended at having anything over your back? Oh, look how stylish you are. Huh? Grandma kitty vibes. I'm sorry, darling. I will take it off your back before you are bothered. Well, that was fun. But now, at least, if we just do a little crocheted edge, we'll be able to start new projects. 2025, how exciting. Thank you. It is a fun project. People don't believe me when I tell them it's an easy project. I promise it is. It's not that bad. The whole point was that it looks more complicated than it is. That is the point, that you impress people. But it's actually not that difficult. Madam, we are doing out of frame error things again. Hi. You are the most beautiful. Yeah. Can you hear her? Anyway, on that pertastic note, I think we shall call it for the evening. We are almost on the dot at 8 p.m, which rarely happens. It's almost always it runs over time because I forget time because I'm having a good time. But thank you all for joining. This has been lovely. I love that we are getting new crafty friends showing up in the stream is very nice. Ribbing is the upper ceiling of my knitting skills. Ribbing is nice though. Ribbing is super useful. But yeah, hope you have a good one, and I wish you many good vibes for next week, and all things safe and medical. We shall see you again next week. Bye.